Good afternoon. It's been an interesting day. One thing I have learned is I'm just gonna start, regardless of if people are on, and I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out, and then you all can review it and rewind it if you missed anything. Okay. So on that note, if you come in, say hello. Let me know you're here. I understand this is a new group. So some people may not get it at this point, but that's why it's recorded. I'm going to have you, I'm going to send a link so that you can access this and then review over it again. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. First and foremost, your packets your distance learning packets are here. Seventh grade. Some of you guys have received it, and some of you guys haven't. Okay. I will be discussing in detail how to make sure you get your points later on, but at this point, you have the package. You can start on the work, and then we'll discuss how you actually get the work done. Okay. Uh, Next is the new chat. Another new link right here. That link. Oh, hold on one second. Let me refresh this. All right. New link right here, and it can also be found right here. Okay. Uh, Give me one second. All right. So, um, I noticed a number of you all have not subscribed to the email list. It'd be a great thing if you did, uh, because I'll send reminders through the email. I know you don't always check them, but hey, at least make sure your parents are getting the email. The next thing would be a little bit more for you all for the most part as well. Text messages. I know everybody's around phones, uh, and so uh, I've decided to just go ahead and re-implement, reintroduce Remind. And so your code is right here. Okay, so if you click on this code, all you have to do is type your name in with your number, sign up, and then I can send you text messages to give you updates, even work, even with the what's the word, exit ticket. Okay, so um, let's do that as well. Let's make sure we sign this up so that when we do our exit tickets at the end of the day, you can go ahead and throw that in there. I also can um, give you exit tickets, even though I may not talk to you. I can send you a text message. Hey, what did you learn today? Give me what you learned, and then you can write that down. Okay, so that's one great way of being able to um, learn from afar. I can ask you a couple questions just to make sure you guys are on point. So a lot of you guys worried about your grade. Making sure you answer these exit tickets is going to help you because the classwork uh, is going to be important, but those test grades are really going to be important because of how well it's going to assess how much you actually learned. Okay. All right. So again, if you haven't been on, here's the schedule. All right. And so today we are going to discuss the Han Dynasty. All right. So who else do we have on here? See. All right, great. Got more people coming on. All right. So again, for the people who just came on, I'm going to start just starting at the time, and then you guys can rewind the time to go back and catch back up. Okay. So China inquiry arc. Okay. So today I want to do a couple things. I want to go over the importance of what the Han Dynasty did. Okay. And I also want to discuss time. Okay. I want to discuss time. So let's look at time first. Okay. And then we'll do the Han Dynasty. Okay. So if I go to history. Oh, can't go that way. Okay, let's do it like this.
It's known as the divine right of kings, and it's been around for a very long time. It's the concept that kings have used to claim their sovereignty directly from God, and that they are subject to no earthly authority.
Okay. All right, so we're back over here.
Hello and welcome to my timeline. This is a timeline I am working on in Prezi. So I want to explain to you what BCE and CE are and compare them to BC and AD. I also want to look at how we can read year dates in BCE or BC. So here's a timeline. At one end we have 2000 BC. At the other end, BCE. At the other end we have 2000 CE or Common Era. You'll notice that that's where 2012 is, 2012 CE.
All right, are we able to hear this? Okay, great. So I'm gonna start this back over. You want to take notes on this before we even get great. So before I hit play again, notes. We're going to talk about what separates ancient times from modern times, kinda. All right, or medieval times. When we're discussing ancient times, we're pretty much here on back. Okay, and I'll show another video to kind of show you what the ancient times look like, but I'm gonna give you a quick tutorial on BC versus AD. All right, so here we go.
Hello and welcome to my timeline. This is a timeline I am working on in Prezi. So I want to explain to you what BCE and CE are and compare them to BC and AD. I also want to look at how we can read year dates in BCE or BC. So here's a timeline. At one end we have 2000 BC. At the other end, BCE. At the other end we have 2000 CE or Common Era. You'll notice that that's where 2012 is, 2012 CE. But wait, wasn't it 2012 AD? Well, you're right, it was 2012 AD, but we are moving from AD to CE and BC to BCE. So why are we moving from BC to BCE? Well, let's look at some of the history of where BC and AD come from. For that, we need to look back to 500 CE and look at Dionysius Exiguus. He is actually a monk who helped invent Anno Domini and BC. So in 500 CE, somewhere around the 6th century, he decided that he was going to help set the calendar and help adjust some of the years, and he came up with AD, which is the same as CE. But AD doesn't mean after death, it means Anno Domini. And Anno Domini means the year of our Lord. So when people say 2012 AD, they mean 2012 Anno Domini, or 2012, the year of our Lord. Let's look at what BC means. BCE is the same thing as BC, and BC does mean before Christ, because Dionysius Exiguus did decide that he was going to try and start the years at what they thought the year that Jesus was born. And there is no year 0. There is 1 BCE and there is 1 CE, but there is no year 0. So BCE and BC, those are still the same. The numbers still do the
So I'm pausing this because this is a note that you need to have. Okay. Remember, and before you get to AD, it's a countdown. So that means as the numbers count down, you're actually getting closer. So you'll see here the example.
the same thing. They still get smaller, so that 1000 BCE is before 500 BCE. And everything that was in BCE, meaning before Common Era, is before CE, which is the Common Era. So remember that BC and AD are slightly being changed, because if you don't believe in Jesus.
So 2000 BCE, right, is a lot older than 1000 BCE. Does everybody understand that? Y'all with me on that? Just tell me with a yes. All right. So this is a countdown. So we're going here. It's a countdown. After we get to 1 CE, we start counting upwards. So this is almost like your negative time. So another way of looking at the timeline is negative, positive. So ancient pretty much is kind of like negative, right? So if you have the 0 here, which there isn't really a 0, everything from behind is ancient, and then as we move forward, we start coming into the world that we actually care about, if that's the best way you want to think about it. Okay. Correct. Yes, exactly, Kaylee. It's like a number line. Remember, negative, ancient, positive, more modern. Okay. So when we look at the videos about China, you're going to notice that you're going to see a lot of BCE or BC, and you're going to understand how old China actually really is. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play.
Being Christ, which many religions don't, or many non-religious people might not believe that, then it wouldn't make sense for you to say 2012, the year of our Lord, or 5000 before Christ. So it's being changed to kind of a more neutral term. And people have been doing that to kind of try and be respectful for people who happen to not be Christian. So remember that BC, before Christ, is the same as BCE, and AD, Anno Domini, year of our Lord, is the same as CE, Common Era.
All right. So the next video here is going to show you about the ancient and what we're studying. So we have BC. And then we have common era over here. We have 0, which really doesn't exist. Right? So complex civilization is 4000 BC. We've learned about Mesopotamia and Egypt. We're here. Hammurabi's Code, Pharaoh, Palestine and Egypt. So we're in the 4000 BCE right now. So Abraham, Moses. Palestine, China. So we're going to be talking about China here. All right. We're not going to talk about the Americas. So if you notice, every civilization we've been talking about, right, we're in the 4000 BCs. Greeks and Romans, which is the work you guys are going to be doing. We're still here in the BC era. Socrates and Plato is 400 BC, which you guys will be learning about. So Julius Caesar, Augustus, Jesus of Nazareth, we're here. We're actually starting to cross over the 0 now. So the Roman Empire. And we'll stop there because we're not going to discuss the Middle Ages. All right. So does everybody have a good idea of how the timeline works? Tell me with a yes down below. Great. Do we have any questions on the timeline? I only see 3 yeses, but there's like 7 y'all in here. There we go. Is there any questions on the timeline? No questions? All right. So, what we're going to do here. All right. We're going to do something fairly, she said she knew. Our question here. How did the Han change the way Chinese empires worked? Okay. So we're going to answer this question. You guys write down notes so you don't have to keep writing this stuff over and over again. I'm going to show you a couple places to get the answers, and then we'll move on. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at, where is it at? Civil exams. Okay. This is on your page for ancient China. I will be putting the link in the chat, so you don't have to go looking for it. Mm. All right, I've placed the link below, so you can go there. We're only going to be there for a quick second, okay? Um, this is going to be one of the documents I'm going to have you guys answer. I just want to break this down for you just a little bit here. So we said in our inquiry arc, we said, how did the Han change the way Chinese empires worked? So if we go here, okay, we'll look at the first paragraph. All right, and this is how you guys break stuff down. Look over the question, and then when you start doing your research, the minute you see something that discusses what you're supposed to be answering, write it down as a note. Okay, so during the Han Dynasty, China's emperors realized that they needed well-trained officials to help govern the country. The Han government began requiring civil service exams. A civil service exam is a test people must take before they qualify for a job. So, this right here, okay? Should you write this word for word? No. Okay. But should you be taking notes on this? Yes. All right. So, what is a civil service exam? What is the purpose of a civil service exam? Purpose of a civil service exam is to make sure the right person gets the job. Okay? So they're trying to make it fair. So in our past civilizations, it wasn't about if you were qualified for the job. It was about your blood and where you were born at. China didn't believe in this. They believed the best person should get the job. So that should be a note you guys write down. China believed the best person should get the job. Now, they didn't always believe that, but this is the part of history we are really going to focus and study on. Okay, so that should be the note that you guys talk about. So, the Han government began requiring civil service exams. Another example of a civil service exam would be being a teacher. Okay, you just can't show up and be a teacher. You have to go to school, and then after you go to school, you got to pass a test. And that test is three different tests. Okay, and if you don't graduate, you can't be a teacher. If you don't pass these tests, you can't be a teacher. Okay, so you can go all the way through, and if you don't pass the test, you can't be a teacher. This is also an example for being a lawyer. You can do 6, 7 years of being studying to be a lawyer. If you don't pass the bar, you can't be a lawyer. And that's the same for being a doctor. You can take 8 to 12 years working on being a doctor, but if you don't pass the test, you can't be a doctor. The most qualified people are the ones that are allowed to get the job. Okay, it's not about your looks, it's not about who you know, it's about what you're qualified to do. Okay, I understand that, Amani, but I can almost guarantee whatever you want to do, there's going to be a test behind it in order for you to be able to actually do it. So what is it that you want to do, Amani? All right, as I'm waiting for Amani to answer that question, what we're going to do is go to the book. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of show you where I went to help you guys out, to help you navigate. Oh, man. Let me just X out of that. All right. So this is Unit 4. Civil service exams is right here. This is ancient China. What I did was I went to Life in the Chinese Dynasties. Clicked on that. All right. And then first I'm going to go to the review part, right? And I want to see if you guys understand this real quick. All right. So remember we said we was focused on the Han Dynasty, right? So that means we're not going to look at the Zhou or the Qin. Okay. We're just looking at the Han Dynasty. Now, granted, there are some questions that we're going to get back to with them, but our focus is the Han. All right. What if you want to be a cheerleader? Well, think about this. If you look at your what type of cheerleader do you want to be? Do you want to be just a regular cheerleader, or are you trying to be a professional cheerleader? Because there's certain things that you have to do in order to be a professional cheerleader or a cheerleader who gets a scholarship and goes to school. A regular person just can't say, "Oh, I'm going to be a cheerleader" and earn a scholarship to go to a Division I school. Okay, so everything has prerequisites in order for you to meet, in order for you to actually be that person or that power. Oh, I'm sorry, not that power, but that job. Okay, it's so let's put it like this about the cheerleader, right? In middle school, you can show up and be a cheerleader, right? When you go to high school, it's going to be a little more difficult to be a cheerleader. But yeah, you can actually make it most likely being a cheerleader. If you want a scholarship to be a cheerleader, you got to actually be a cheerleader. They don't just give scholarships out for people who don't take cheerleading seriously. Okay? It's just like basketball, right? Anybody can pretty much play basketball in middle school and elementary. But once you get to high school, then because everybody's trying to play, there's only a limited amount of spots. You're not going to necessarily make it if you're not doing what you're supposed to. So again, that's merit-based. That's quality-based. Okay. So looking here, Han Dynasty. So here are notes. Remember, these are answers. When you go to evaluate, all right. So the Han Dynasty expanded China's territory and helped to establish trade routes that spread Chinese goods and culture to the West. So that's the answer. So remember, we said, how did the Han change the way Chinese empires worked? Okay. So they helped establish trade routes. All right. The Han established a new system of merit based on teachings of Confucius that was used to place the government officials. All right. The Han supported the art and science, which led to the creation of great artistic and literary work and technological inventions. Okay. So my question for you here real quick is, what is this? What are they talking about when they say Han established a system of merit based on teachings of Confucius? What are they talking about? All right. Write down what you think they're talking about right now. All right. Amani, yes. Being a vet, you do have to take a test. All right. It's just like being a doctor. They want to make sure you ain't going to kill no dogs. No dogs. Yes, Christopher, they definitely have tests for lawyers called the bar. All right, you have to pass those tests. All right, so what is this an example of? Real quick, somebody should be to write this down. What is this note talking about? Han established a system. What is the system they're talking about? What did the Han expect the people to do? So, Imani, it's not about you killing the dog on purpose, okay? It's about you being able to save the dog or keeping it from dying. All right. Yes, I know Omar wants to be a lawyer. All right. So, Imani, are you able to put or give the dog the right amount of drugs? Or are you able to sew up the dog if there was a cut? What can you do to save the dog? Like right now, if you wanted to be a vet, you couldn't because you don't know anything about a dog's anatomy. Okay. Is Omar in the chat? All right. Nobody's giving me the example of what this is talking about right here. So what we're going to do here real quick, okay, we're going to go to explore. We're going to go to 8. All right. I'm going to scroll down here. All right. The emperor also created tests that officials would take to ensure that they understood the works of Confucius. This system of promotion established an early form of meritocracy, or leadership based on ability, not birth. Okay. What were these assessments called? What were these assessments called? All right, I'm waiting for you guys to answer that question. It's literally in your notes, and we've been going over it. So there's really no reason why you can't answer this question. Let's not make up words. Remember, we've went over this. This is in your notes. We talked about it. We talked about the focus here. Have you heard the word employment test? It's literally in our notes. We got to learn how to use our notes, you all. It's extremely vital that you guys look at your notes and use them as we're learning from a distance. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to keep moving on. All right. I'm going to click on meritocracy because I think maybe this may be a point that you're a little confused. At this point here, you all should get this answer. Okay. It says a meritocracy is a form of government or public administration in which people are chosen for their jobs based on their merits or abilities. So, can you get a job for looking good or being friends with someone in a meritocracy? Answer that question below. Can you get a job? So remember, meritocracy, good job for everybody who's saying no. Meritocracy is talking about your ability. Okay? So how would someone um how would someone figure out that you would figure out you were able to do a job? What would they have you do? What would they have you take? What would they have you take to figure out if you could do the job? You should be able to type that in there. And if you don't know yet, as I go through this, you should be able to get it. Okay? So during the Han Dynasty, which ruled China from 206 BC to 220 CE, so we should have a great timeline of knowing where that's at, a meritocracy developed. There we go. We're starting to get it now. All right. What would that test be called? What would that test be called? The hand-created series of examinations which people had to pass to gain appointments or promotions in the government. These exams were based on people's knowledge of the classics, of a series of books of Confucius and his followers. You all are all correct, but you haven't given me the exact name I'm looking for. All right. So what is these? No, what is? So let's look at this real quick. All right. Because we're pretty much there now. And class is about over. You guys are doing pretty well. Let's go back to this note here. Did you write down your notes on this situation on this section here? All right. What is the name of the exam I'm asking for? You're missing a word, Liz. There we go. There we go. All right. So that's starting to come in now, right? So your exit ticket. Wait, I'm sorry. Let's do one more point. Oops, don't want to do that. Um, when we look at meritocracy, all right, in your notes, all right, I need you to write these couple points down real quick. All right, good job. I'm seeing civil service exam. All right, the civil service, these exams were based on people's knowledge of the classics, a series of books by Confucius and his followers. All right. Also, a note to put down for civil service exam is to say government-based jobs. Government-based jobs. All right. So if we just jump online real quick, go to Google. All right. So civil service exams is talking about the permanent professional branches of the government administration, excluding military and judicial and elected professions. All right. So civil servants. All right. So in this way, civil servants are defined much more narrowly than public sector workers, which means, um, we have police, teachers, all right, um, armed forces, local government officers. All right. So we're looking at the government. All right. Okay. So having said that, when we're looking at the government, all right, when we're looking at this, make sure we say we have people's knowledge of the classics and Confucianism. All right. So exit ticket will be uh, give examples of how the Han helped China progress. Actually, give me three examples. All right. One thing I want to point before I give up the exit ticket is to keep in mind. Uh, remember, just like we talked about the mandate of heaven, not only could peasants go from peasants to emperors, but peasants could find themselves working in the government. So no one was limited to where they were born. Their ability, um, what they were able to do and provide to the government would actually allow them to grow and actually become important within the government if they were worthy, if they had the work ethic, if they were good at what they did, they could move up. Okay. All right. So it's definitely civil service exams. Right now, I've put the question down. All right. And once you answer that question, we'll let you go. Good job. Oh, so remember, you should have your notes about merit. Whenever you see merit, you have ability. So don't forget about that. Last but not least, make sure you guys you sign up for Remind. Okay, make sure you sign up for Remind because next time we jump online, I will be sending you the exit ticket through text. So remember, this is your class right here. Good one. Shouldn't end up with a question mark. So there you go. Liz, what two other things did the Han Dynasty do? Yes, this is the exit ticket. Look at 2:32 p.m. Now put the exit ticket in 2:32 p.m. Kaylee, good job. Even though, again, you guys didn't answer the complete question. You even know what the word state bureaucracy is? Remember, you all use words you know. If you use the word, make sure you look it up because Kaylee, I'm gonna ask you what state bureaucracy is. But remember, I also said give 3 examples of how the Han helped China progress. So that goes back to our evaluate our notes here, where we discussed the Han Dynasty expanding, and we also talked about the arts and sciences. I'm going to get off of that real quick though, because that should be in your notes. Let me go back up here. There's a nice little point here too. Man of heaven is during this time as well. And if you look here, if you're not really sure in your book, we have page 6. How did the Han Dynasty expand China? So again, everything we're asking for, you have the answers without you having to really Google. Yes, they did. Remember, Liz, you don't want a bunch of people who can't do work. So imagine someone in the government who has no clue. Actually, let's put it like this. The Han Dynasty tried to keep it to where Trump would be not voted for president. So these exams weed out people who are not good for the particular job that they're going for. Han helped China progress by the civil service, so the person would know if they get the job. All right, so everybody, you guys got the civil service, but remember, I've also asked to give me 2 other points. How did the Han help China progress? All right, I'm still not getting those 2 examples of what the Han did to progress the Chinese. So, what I need you all to do for homework, okay? It's not going to take long at all. All right. What I need you to do is just go to the textbook. Okay. Go to the. Well, first off, I need you to. First off, I need you to register with Remind. Okay. And then what I need you to do is go to the textbook down here. Click on Life in the Chinese Dynasty and read and give me 2 examples of how the Han Dynasty, if you look here, that's probably like page 6, 7, and 8. All right. Find 2 examples of how they progressed the Han Dynasty. I mean the Chinese culture. All right. All right, so Liz, that's correct. But I need two more examples of what the Han did. Okay, so listen, you guys understand the civil service exams. You understand what merit is, but that is one example. Okay, what we need now is two more examples. So when you get off here, just jump on your book and look up those two examples, and I'll send out a text for you just to type those answers in. At about, I'll send a text. Let's say it's 2:42. I'll send it out about 5 o'clock. That'll give you some time to get registered so that I can send you guys the question. All right. So if you don't have any more questions, Zion, I need you again, and this goes for everyone. Go to the home page. Go to the home page and then click on Remind Join WH7A. Okay, go to the home page. Remind. Okay, front page Remind. Click here. Okay, what's going to happen here is this going to pop up. Put your name, your number in so that I can send you the question. I'm going to send you where to answer it at through there. Okay. Remember 7A, 7A, 7C, ancient history. All right. Everybody got that? Remember also, this is not for the class that's actually listening, but if you're logging in and seeing this later at a different time, don't forget, if you're not 7A or 7C, you're going to be 7B, and your link is right here. All right, so is there any other questions? Great job, Amani. So if I send this out, after I've sent it out, you all can actually send the question. I think you can send the question if you forward it through text. I'm not sure if you can or not, but I think you can. So if by some chance you forget to check that out, maybe one of your classmates can do it as well. Amanda, give me a second. I will take a look. Everybody should be registered by the time I log off of here. You guys are what? 7A? Amani, Kaylee, Zion, got you on here. Yes, Liz, you can do that. Any number that will get to you so that you can answer the question, you can definitely do it. The link will be a Google. Yes, Zion, I got yours. It will be a Google link. So all it is going to be a link that you just click on where you answer the question. And then tomorrow I should actually have the question. I'll send it to you like right during class. Now I will say we won't be doing live every day. We're only doing live right now because I haven't developed everything yet, and I want to make sure you guys get the information. So a lot of the time you're going to have two types of work. You're going to have your packet, which is going to be your kind of like your homework, and then you'll have my work, which is um, which is what you could just focus on for like 40 minutes, as well as your vocabulary. All right, I have Mahalet, Kaylee, and Zion. Uh, so there's like 8 people in here, I believe, but I've only got 4. So not sure why everybody else has not clicked on this site here, this link here, and have put your information in there. So I know Loving, you need to do it. Amani, you need to do it. I know Liz, you're working on it. Chris, you need to do it. I think that might be it. Amani, you have not. I don't. Wait a minute. Let me update it. All right, Amani, you're good. So I have Amani, Kaylee, Mahalet, and Zion. Liz, you can use your mother's name. It's okay. You're good, Helen. All right. Um, Chris and Taylor. Not sure what happened to y'all, but I'm about to log off here. But good job. I can only wait so much longer for you all. All right. Let me check one more time. Still got six. All right. So we're good. Um, I'll be sending that exit ticket out here shortly, and I'll see you all later. Any other questions before I let y'all go? All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. Haven't heard anything else yet, so we'll see you later. Oh, you did? Let me check. Uh, Chris, make sure you went to the correct page or class. I mean, because I don't have you on here yet. Let me do this. Then I'm gonna get off here. What's the website? Let me just put this down here for you all. Go ahead, click on that. For I give you guys a minute. Go ahead, click on that, Taylor and Chris, and then I'm gonna have to get off here. Still got six. Oh, that's Omar. Omar's Chris. All right, Omar, you did pretty good. Way to follow instructions. There we go. And loving, we got you too. All right. I'll see you all later. I'll be sending you guys the exit ticket, and you guys have a good day.